Croton oil air edema in rats and mice. That means this is one of the experiment in order to evaluate anti-inflammatory activity. Okay, and another term is anti-phlogistics. Okay, that means reducing inflammation. So in this anti-inflammatory screening methods in which we are using the croton oil, and this croton oil is being going to use in order to induce the edema inflammations in the air, and it can be done both on rats as well as mice, isn't it? So why croton oil? Croton oil itself is used here in order to induce inflammations because croton oil has an irritant effect. Okay, this one is having an irritant effect, and basically if you see, you will find that croton oil do contain 4-bol ester. Okay, 4-bol ester, and because of which inflammation is induced in the skin. Okay, so how does it initiate it? It is because the 4-bol esters, which is actually we in short we say TPA, that is 12 ortho tetradeconyl 4-bol 13 acetate. So this is the constituent of the croton oil, which is basically inducing inflammation. Okay, that means it basically involved in the activations of the protein kinase, which in turn activate the other enzymatic cascades events. So which majorly promotes the increased activity of the phospholipase A2, and on activations of phospholipase A2, it result in increase in the level of arachidonic acids and metabolites such as prostaglandin and leukotrienes. So, likewise, in the cascade of events, mitogen activated protein kinase is also activated, also involved in the release of platelet activations factor, several immune mediators like cytokines, chemokines, release of histamine and serotonin. It will also moderate the synthesis of inflammatory eicosanoids by 5-lipoxygenase and cyclooxygenase enzymes. So thus it's all stimulate the response. This inflammatory responses stimulate the response like vasodilation, increased permeability, and infiltrations of the leukocyte. Now here we will check about the agent which will be able to check all these process. Now for this here the assessment would be performed on topical applied steroid and non-steroid anti-inflammatory drugs. Now the experiment animal, as we have seen it, the air edema actually observed in the rats and the mice. So experimental animal like the mice or sprog dolly rat can be used. Specification like you can take 22 gram of male mice and sprog dolly, obviously male, which is maybe 70 gram. Okay, the mice would be NMRI mice, that is Naval Medical Research Institutes. Okay, so it is an inbreed mice. So here the irritant compositions that we will be used in order to induce the inflammations. It has an compositions volume to volume. That is, in case of mice, you have to give one part of croton oil. Now, what is croton oil? Croton oil is actually croton tiglium. Okay, Joyfella we call it in the Bengali synonym. So we have 1 part of croton oil, 10 parts of ethanol, 20 parts of pyridine, and 69 parts of ethyl ether. Likewise, in case of the rat, there is a little change in the composition of the written composition. That is, in case of 1 part of croton oil, here we will be giving 4 part of croton oil and 66 parts of ethyl ether, isn't it? You can see here 66 parts of the ethyl ether. Now the dose for the irritant would be 0.01 ml, and in case of the rat it will be 0.02 ml. Now first of all, initially what we have to do, we have to give this irritant topically. We have to use it on the both the side of the right ears, and the left ears will be untreated. Okay. Now taste dose would be zero point 0.3 ml mg per ml to 1 mg per ml, as it has been shown here in case of mice, and it should be 3 to 10 times higher concentration in case of the rat. Now this has to be administered separately. Now the standard drug that we will be using here, hydrocortisone or whatever the other non-steroidal anti-inflammatory or steroid anti-inflammatory drugs you can use. So hydrocortisone has an effective, it has shown an effective. So topically we have to use. So control group will receive only the irritant. Now in order to prepare the taste substance, we have to dissolve the taste substance in the irritant solution. Okay. Now, sample size would be 10 in each group, or as per the power analysis, the sample size demand. Now, taste and standard. Now, after administration, after the 4 hour of application, animal has to be sacrificed, and the ether, anesthesia ether, and ears has to be removed, and it has been punch out 8 millimeter bricks, which and the difference in the weight needs to be measured, which will be the indicator of the anti-inflammatory activity of the taste substance.